Evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. I hope you're enjoying your week and looking forward to the weekend, which is going to be a big weekend for a lot of clubs, including some of the clubs on tonight's show. Big up Dave, and big up Emilio. We are going to have a couple of the lads join us a little bit late. They're stuck in traffic, and apparently it's all traffic jams galore everywhere, so they are going to be with us. But there's a lot to talk about again, and unfortunately, the last time we spoke, we were talking about VAR, and it looks now as if we're going to be talking about it again. I'm going to make a bet with you three and with anyone else on this show and anyone else listening that we're not going to be not talking about this again in the next show. This is happening weekly now, and it's becoming a bit of a joke. Before we go into it, make sure you do us a favour. Make sure you smash a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you want to join as a member, then you can do so, just like Jamie Brewerton has done. Big up, Jamie. If you do want to join them, please make sure that you do. If you go to like and then subscribe, which is free, you'll see the join button next to it as well. And you can get and become a member and support the channel. Listen, lads, it's got to be said that this is becoming a bit of a joke now. And it's not just the officials, it's not just the systems, it's not just the decisions that are making. It's actually the audio that now has been released that we get to hear. And I was at AFTV on Tuesday watching Arsenal's shocking performance against Lens, and I literally could not believe what I was hearing when the audio had come out. I thought it was an absolute disgrace. I thought it was a shambles. And the referee gets a lot of stick. I'll start with you, Dave. I honestly believe the referee gets a lot of stick, and sometimes rightly so, the decisions are made. But this time I actually felt really sorry for the lad. He's sat there, he's made a decision, and you've got 15 voices in your ears telling you what you have and haven't done right. It is an absolute cluster feck, if I'm honest with you. It was shambolic, to say the least. Now, I've got nothing wrong with a human error. I've got nothing wrong with referees making a decision and getting it wrong. But what I think should happen here, Dave, is I think what should happen is the referee gives a decision. Let's just say he's given a penalty, right? The referee gives a penalty, and then nothing else happens other than him to go, give me 1 second, lads. I'm just going to go and check it myself. No one come up to me and start shouting. I'm going to go and view it. You go and view it. You look at the TV screen. It plays the incident again. And he there and then decides, yep, I'm sticking with it. Or, nah, I think I got that one wrong, actually. But what he doesn't have is 15 voices in his ears at the time going, yeah, look at this one, Dave. Did you see this? Chris, come over here and tell Dave what he missed. Oh, Mick, come over and tell, because he flicked his arm. Did you not see that arm flick, Mick? Dave, what did you think of that? Whoa, I can't make a decision while people are shouting in my ears. I need to be looking at it and going, right, I'm the referee. I'll make a decision. I'll go over and see the TV and I'll make sure I've got it right. I don't need 15 people in Stockley Park to tell me whether they think it is or isn't, because then you get loads of shouting. And then what happens? You get confusion. There's miscommunication. There's misunderstanding of whether it should be given or shouldn't be given. The game plays on. The referees sitting in Stockley Park don't then say to the geezer, oi, by the way, fella, you got this one wrong. You're going to have to stop the game and give a free kick because it should be a goal. It's an absolute shambles. This is incompetence at the highest order, Dave, isn't it?
It is. To be honest, Dan, we're in the 21st century, but sometimes when you watch these games of football, at the highest level at the moment, you kind of sort of think, are we? It's just getting ridiculous. I mean, can I first say, Dan, that clusterfuck is a marvellous word to use.
Well, I didn't want to swear too. I didn't want to swear too much.
There's a bit of Father Ted in there and a bit of something else, mate. And I think you summed it up really, really well. So, wordsmithery, Potsy, 1 point there, mate. The second thing, I'm thinking about myself now. Now, I would be even worse in the situation. I'm completely deaf in one ear, and then if I've got the earphone in the other ear and I've got like 15 voices shouting at me, it's just even more of a cluster fumble or whatever it might be. But the truth of the matter is, looking at what happened last week was it was a hideous mistake, really. I mean, it didn't help that the commentator on the match on Sky seemed to have the idea that I think it was Romero's back leg was sort of, playing him perfectly, playing him offside, and Diaz was perfectly onside. So it was an egregious incident, which I mean, it would have had a big effect on the game, I think. If Liverpool had taken the lead, it would have had I think, Tottenham would have, it would have altered, if not, it would have altered the character of the match, I think. But I felt sorry for Simon Hooper. I really did. I hate anybody in my orbit being self-conscious. And there was a man stood in the middle of a big football stadium with however many thousands of people in there, millions on TV watching. and he was like the most meek rabbit in the brightest headlights you've ever seen. And it, all that stuff going on in his ear could not have helped him at all. And it just seemed to me like there were too many cooks getting involved. It's an absolute shambles. And my view is that it's a blight on our game at the moment. And I was sat there thinking today, how many huge controversies have we had in the Championship? How many huge controversies have we had in League One? How many huge controversies have we had in League Two? None whatsoever. Only where this technology is. And my view is we had human error prior to the technology. We have human error now with the technology. And, we're in the same limbo state that we were in before. I honestly, I'm getting to the point where keep the goal line technology, which I think is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I think I love this idea that a referee's watch vibrates and you get a clear a view of whether a ball was over the line or not. I'm absolutely for that. Ever since Lampard's disallowed goal against Germany in the World Cup, I think it was 2010, when he clearly scored against Germany. Ever since then, I've been for it, and I think that is a fantastic innovation. But the other stuff is just what it's doing. It's ruining games. I mean, that Liverpool scored, I think it might even. It was a good game. I was gripped by it the whole way through. But it would have been interesting to see where it went after that. But the worst thing for me is how it's affecting moods and atmospheres inside stadiums, because if Nottingham Forest score these days, you can't fully go with the family feeling of like elation that you've scored. And it'd be the same if it's in Kenilworth Road or if it's at the Cottage or if it's at the Emirates. We scored a beauty last week against Brentford. And my first thought was, what are they going to find? And so it's just completely neutering any kind of unbridled emotion that you've got we're all of us so emotionally invested in the game. So I'm at the point where I'm literally looking at the 4 leagues below, and that goes to the National League as well. There are games going on in there, and there are like contentious decisions, but there's none of this. I mean, obviously the stakes are higher in the Premier League. Let's get that out of the way. But I'm coming to the point where I think we're better off without it. Let's just go back to where we were.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll come to you, Dave. There's been many occasions where Luton have been affected by this, and to be fair, everybody on this panel has. I must say though, even if it's not VAR that stopped and it's looked elsewhere, the competency level of these referees are poor and the officials are poor, because you can change rules all you like and you can replay systems and you can put more rules that are black and white, but when the rules so far they can't get right, I don't really think we should be looking at changing rules because they can't get these rules right. So why would they be able to get new rules correct? That's my honest opinion on it. I think we need to be looking now at referees and officials being kind of marked. I know it sounds silly, but some of them are just not good enough. It's just, that's how bad it is. So we can think about all rules and maybe managers should be able to give, like you do in tennis, you get 3 decisions that you can call and say, I'd like to see that one again. You can sort that all you like, but the officials are still not good enough for me. So I made the comment on AFTV and on Lee's channel the other night about the refereeing quality over the years. And the good referees that have kind of disappeared have disappeared because they want to distance themselves away from all the stuff that's going on right now. Because Mike Riley was a poor referee and he's at the top. Howard Webb, I mean, may as well have been coming out of a Man United shirt on every game. He's at the top now. You've got the likes of Mike Dean sitting in Soccer Saturday with the old Jeff Stelling and his crew, giving a professional opinion. Peter Waltons in BT or TNT. You've got Dermot Gallagher on Referee Watch every Saturday if you want to watch it, every Monday. These people were all shocking referees. Where's Jeff Winter? Where's Kalina? Where's like Mark Housey, who wasn't so bad? Where's Uriah Rennie? Where's the Dutch guy who sent Rooney off for clapping in his face? All these referees were half decent. I'll tell you where they've gone. They've gone, get me away from those absolute muppets. I ain't doing anything like that. I'm going and enjoying my retirement. I honestly believe it's true, Dave. I really do.
The problem is when we're trying to micromanage games in the way that they are with VAR. That's the problem. The VAR is micromanaging games. The decision is taken away from the referees on the pitch. They're frightened to make those decisions, and they have been since VAR has been invented. Well, I'm holding off on the offside. I'm not going to give that. And you talk about all the voices earlier in the game. Well, what should have happened if we go back to the incident at the Liverpool game? What should have happened is as soon as they realised they made the mistake, stop the bloody game. Stop the game, get the referee to go over to the manager and say, look, we've made a mistake. We're running back the clock. We're going to give the goal and we're going to restart. That's what they should have done. But they can't because the laws of the game don't allow them to start the game again. That's wrong. It doesn't matter. Luton Burnley on Tuesday night, I felt we had a really big shout for a penalty. And you can watch it from so many different angles. VAR would have backed it if he'd have given it, and they backed it that he didn't give it. So the problem is that my opinion of the game or a referee's opinion of the game could be different to the other referee's opinion of the game. And there's no black and white for VAR. There's black and white for goal line technology, but there's no black and white for VAR. It's how you feel. Are we taking it up? Are the referees good enough? I think you're being a bit unfair. I think some of them are good enough. The problem is the people that are at Stockley Park aren't. Their vision of the game is different. They're micromanaged. They're going back to the nth degree, like Dave said earlier, the nth degree. Someone scores, how far back down the pitch do they go, or on that move do they go to find something wrong? Because that's how you feel about it. That's how you feel about it. I genuinely can't stand it. But then the other day, that was really good for Luton, so I did like it. You know, it's and that's the problem, isn't it? It's interpretation of the laws of the game. The laws of the game can be quite not really specific enough. You know, I look at offside. Offside for me used to be if you were seeking to gain an advantage at the time. If you're in an offside position, but you're not seeking to gain an advantage, you're not offside. Or there had to be daylight between you. Now it's, a toe. It's too much. It's far, far too much. The technology can work. The people that behind it don't work it well enough. But you talk about all those voices at the weekend, by the way, half of those were players shouting at the referee. They're saying it's wrong, it's wrong. So he's trying to deal with the players on one side of the pitch. He's got those people chatting in his ear the other side. What the referee should just be saying to them, my decision on the pitch is this, as they do in rugby. My decision is this. Is that correct? And it just needs a yes or a no. That's all he needed at that game, a yes or a no. Oh, and look, it was a wrong decision. We know that. But there's been many, many wrong VAR decisions. And there's been many decisions without VAR that are wrong, but you just have to accept them. We got this technology now and we're just blaming the technology all the time. But it's not the technology. It's the refs using them and their interpretation of the law. I would have been absolutely livid if I was a Liverpool supporter. Absolutely livid. Oh. They should have stopped the game. They should have just rolled back the clock. That's what they should have done. They should have given the goal, explained it to the managers. Everyone would have gone, well, you made a cock up, but you put it right. And then it would have been 1-0 Liverpool. That would have been an interesting game then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. Listen, we can debate all of those decisions if you want, but I'm just kind of sick of talking about them all, if I'm honest. Was it a red card? Should it have been 2 yellow cards? Was it an offside goal? Was it this? Was it that? It was a shambles. It was a bad night, Emilio, for those officials. And, I want to bring this up because there's a comment from Jamie, our new member, in the chat, and Jamie Bruton says there's some chat saying the game could be replayed. Is this true? Well, it's not true. That's not probably going to happen. But Jurgen Klopp, if he had it his way, would love to see that. Emilio, this is madness, isn't it?
Madness. Yeah, and I'm not going to go on about the VAR. We talked about it at length a fortnight ago. And I think I agree with Dave G just now as well about cutting a bit of slack for the referees. I think they get a lot of criticism. I said it 2 weeks ago. They've got a bloody hard job. The pace of the game's much faster. There's more at stake financially for clubs, and it's, you've got to cut them a bit of slack. They've got a lot to do, to be honest with you. And the VAR is meant to be supporting a decision, not basically, it's a support. Look at Napoli the other night. I'll tell you, we actually benefited from a penalty where I didn't think, the game should have moved on. Oh, so someone up there in the VAR room saw there was a potential handball. It didn't impact the game per se. The ball was crossed. His hand was down by his side, was looking up in the air. Penalty given to Napoli. We benefited from it. So some you win, some you lose. Well, I just see the referees get a lot of criticism, a lot of slack. Dave made a good point. All these players giving them all this jip in the ear. They've got to listen to the VAR people in their ears. They've got to listen to the players. They've got to take a lot of slack. Who does it come down to at the end of the day? The poor old ref standing on that pitch each week. So I feel sorry for them, to be honest with you. And why would they want to be a referee? And then we say we haven't got enough good referees. Why would you want to go into that job? There's too much at stake, too much criticism. If you make a mistake, you're punished and you're banned for a couple of games. But setting a precedence and having a replay is nonsense, to be honest with you. Jurgen Klopp, you've had a bad decision. Everyone on this panel has had a bad decision this season. So let's go and replay the whole season. Man City game 1-1 just before half time. Man City did atrocious goal they were awarded, changed the balance. We probably would have still lost the game, but going in at half time 2-1 down rather than 1-1, different team talk. They had the momentum. We lost the game comfortably at the end. But what we're going to say, let's go back and replay that game at the beginning of September. Dave, yourself at Nottingham, Man United, how many decisions went against you that day? Dave G, some at Fulham a couple of weeks ago, same thing. There's a couple of decisions that could have gone your way. So some you win, some you lose. I think they're not going to change the laws mid-season, to be honest with you. It needs a bit of a review at the end of the season. And let's go back to what they did at the World Cup. World Cup, instant decisions, prompt, game moved on. Here, 3, 4, 5 minutes down the line. You could go off, you're going to go off and have a piss, and you're still waiting for the referees and VAR to make a decision. Sorry I'm eating at the same time, and I shouldn't be swearing here, but it's the bottom line. It's ridiculous. It's ruining our game. And every time we score, we think, oh, hold on a second, looking up the screen. Oh, was there a handball? I'm hearing people around me saying, oh, maybe there was a bit of offside. At what point can you relax? It's just spoiled the entertainment. Half the time, you're not celebrating a goal. You're just having chats next to you, thinking, referee, is it going to be VAR? Is it going to be overturned? Is it going to be given a decision? You're having a side chat whilst waiting for the referee to blow. Yep, it's a goal. It's just, it's nonsense. It works in rugby. Simplify the rules for football. That's what I say. It's keep it simple, effective, and get to the point. Because rugby, more often than not, they make the right decisions, don't they? Rarely do you see a wrong decision at TMO. So why can't we do the same for football? I just don't get it. Honestly, don't get it.
Absolutely.
It's complicated rugby as well, because you're trying to get the decision. Did he drop the ball on the line? Did he touch the ball? Was there a foul? Was there connect? In hindsight, the rugby rules are more complicated than football rules. If you think about it, what constitutes a penalty in rugby is much more complicated than in football. But they get it right at TMO. Why can't VAR get it right? This different association. Go and talk to each other at the end of the season. Try to simplify the rules and make the fans, enjoy their game. Because at the moment, it's just a non-spectacle. I don't actually enjoy going to football anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame. It is like that. When you score a goal, you think, oh, I've just celebrated like crazy.
Yeah.
I bet it's an embarrassment now. And I'm going to look up and it's going to say VAR. And you hear the whole groans in the stadium everywhere you go. I love this from Archangel. This is class. It says VAR works. It's fine in the Champions League and the World Cup. It's the PGM Manchester OL. That's the problem. That is quite funny. Listen, let's talk football. Let's move away from VAR. I'm sure it will come back up next time we speak. I want to stay with you, Emilio, if I may, because Fulham the other night, I watched the game. I watched watched some of the Chelsea Fulham game on the Monday night, and Tim Ream, I don't know, he's been so good for you, but what was he doing? And that from there, it was just a switch off, wasn't it, really, from Fulham? And I've got to say it to you, Emilio, they're the team at the moment that I wouldn't want to put money on because I have no idea what I'm going to get with Fulham.
Yeah, it's look, I've been quite honest right from the beginning, before pre-season and since the season. I said, look, it's going to be a much more difficult season. I've always said we're going to struggle. I've said from day one we're going to struggle scoring goals. We're seeing that. My worry, and Steve Reynolds is on the call. We often have these chats. It's where are the goals coming from? We're lacking quality. We've got the oldest squad in the division, and Monday night we just didn't turn up. We gave Chelsea probably a bit too much respect. There are Chelsea fans listening on the show, and don't agree with what they're saying down that Chelsea still look poor. I think we made them look better than they actually are. But they've got a young team developing, maturing, and give them a couple of seasons. That Chelsea team, I think, will be going places. But, we didn't help matters. We gave away 2 sloppy goals, poor defending on both. Game over after 20 minutes. We can't score 1 goal, let alone 2 or 3 to win a game. Last season, we could come from behind and still win a game 3-2. This season, we haven't got that luxury. So if we don't keep it tight defensively, how are we going to win games when we can't score goals? That's the problem. And the balance of the play looked wrong. There was a lot of things I was worried about Monday, not just about the lack of goal threat or quality creating chances. It's Paulinho. I've seen to Steve off air. Normally he's right. He's normally kissing his badge. So we're getting corners. Come on, fans, a bit more noise. And going, did none of that. I looked at psychology. I looked in for 90 minutes. Not one chat with the player. No patting the back. No teasing up the crowd. No, just what he normally does best. He spikes the crowd up when the chips are down. Didn't do none of that on Monday night. And that worries me because you've got a player clearly doesn't want to be at the club, playing there just to earn his wages and go home. Could that be a disruption in the dressing room? I think there's some issues going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, where the owners are trying to sell the club. There's a bit of, I don't know, something going on in the dressing room as well. I think clearly the balance of the team doesn't look right. And I am worried now. I am worried. There's worse teams than us, don't get me wrong, but you still have to earn the points. We've got to play Sheffield United on Saturday. I don't care. Win that game at all costs. Go, beat them up if we have to. Get those 3 points, playing ugly. But seriously, we need to sort something out, because otherwise we're going to slump down that table quite quickly. And you're right, Dan. We don't know if we're going to play good one day or bad the other, but we haven't really played good all season. We've got 8 points without playing particularly well, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but no goal threat. We're lacking quality defensively, and if we're conceding without scoring, then recipe for disaster. So let's see. It's worrying times, and after this fixture, we've got a run of, was it Tottenham, Brighton away? We've got Man United at home, Villa away. We've got some tough games coming up, but you could see us in the bottom 3 if we don't get something on Saturday. So the likes of Luton fans, Bournemouth, Wolves, they'll all be gleeing, because I think actually there's another team going to get sucked into the mix. But yeah, Monday night's game was poor. We were dreadful that night. Chelsea weren't great, but they didn't have to be great. And I'm not criticizing Chelsea, but they're not going to get top 6 this season, in my opinion. But they've got a good future ahead with the balance of those players. They've got a good youth team, and I wish them all the best. I've got nothing against them, but we were dreadful on Monday, and it was a very poor spectacle. And for those who love the clubs, we know Fulham Chelsea games are never classics. This one certainly wasn't a classic, one I can forget very quickly. But Tim Ream, you've been a good servant for the club. But I think he'll be brave enough to say, step down from the role on Saturdays, give the captain's armband to somebody else, and let Calvin Bassett come in and play in that central mid defence, because we need to tighten up and we need to find our mojo. Otherwise, we're going to get sucked into that relegation dog scrap.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And just before I come to the two Daves, I wanted to ask you, Emilio, as a Fulham fan, let's be real, had a good season last year in the league. Where does it go in terms of your progress when you have a season that perhaps is not so much as good? Because what I mean by that is, how do you get up for this season when you see Mitrovic going, losing some players, Paulinia, no one looks like, to be 100% dead cert, saying, like, I'm not mean to be this to come across wrong, but with Arsenal, it's always been, we know where we'll probably be, but we want to go to that next level. With Fulham, you don't quite know if you're going to be here or there or what. So what I'm getting at is, how do you kind of get behind the team to go, we need some progress? And what does progress look like realistically this season to you?
Yeah, what's disappointing is after a good season last year, we dropped off the last 3 months of the season. We were consistently top 7, top 8. We finished 10th, and well-deserved 10th place for that matter. But there was an opportunity to push on. I thought, you know what, we've got a good spine in that team. Push on, buy a few, strengthen the squad, bring the average age a little bit more down, and push on to get maybe 9th, or consolidate 10th, maybe push on for 9th and 8th, and maybe compete for a cup. But at the moment, there's been no investment in the club. There's been some subtle signings, don't get me wrong. There's Castagna from Leicester is a good signing. Bassi in defence is a good signing. But clearly we're lacking goals up front, and we haven't really got enough quality midfield. And I think that's a worry for me. And as a Fulham fan, the priority, I think we've always said, is staying up is a priority. But when you finish 10th, haven't got much to do just to sort of strengthen that squad, push on, or even consolidate 10th place and have a season to look forward to. But either the owners want to sell up. Then again, how can you attract players? And Marco Silva clearly is leaving the club at the end of the season. 1 minute he's going, no, he's not going to go to Saudi Arabia. He hasn't signed an extension. He won't sign an extension. So why would anyone want to come and play at Fulham when your manager clearly doesn't want to be there? So imagine you're going there as a professional. Fulham tap you up. You speak to the manager. What's your vision? What's the plan for Fulham next week? Oh, I'm buggering off in a season. How are you supposed to sell it to a player? And that's half the problem as well. Why would I want to go to an organization to work for someone when they've got no ambition and no direction and no strategy? And that's why I think we're struggling to attract the right talent. You can blame the owners for not investing, but clearly the manager's not doesn't want to extend. Players don't want to play at the club, so hence the reason why we've got stalwarts who are still at the club doing the best job they can do, but it's clearly not enough. And we have to find something to get that team running and gelling again, because the foundations are still there, but there's something not quite right in that dressing room. Whether it's Silva knowing that he's going, Paulinia's maybe being a disruption in the dressing room with his attitude, which was clear to be seen on Monday. We're not scoring goals. It's it's a recipe for disaster. It doesn't look good from the outside, put it that way. So so the other clubs should be grateful that Fulham are struggling, because it just means another club going to be in that bottom 6, bottom 7 mix. It's going to be a difficult season, but are there 3 clubs worse than us? I think there are, but let's see who gets the most points in the end. That's what's going to dictate whether we stay up or not. But it's not looking good for us. Not looking good. And Steve Reynolds, you're listening in, aren't you? So yeah, I'm sure you agree with me. So yeah, let's see. We have to carry on. See, that's what we do as fans. You go through thick and thin. Both Daves, you've been there through good and bad times. That's what you do as a supporter. I'm not going to boo the players. They got booed at half-time, which I just don't like. We were awful, but you don't boo the pitch. Playing against Chelsea, a world-class team historically. So to boo, that's just disrespectful to Chelsea, and it doesn't create the confidence from our players going in at half-time, knowing that their fans didn't accept that performance. So yeah, let's be realistic. Survival is the name of the game, and we've still got 30-odd games to find another 30 points. It's doable, but let's see. Let's see in May time.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I agree with you. I think there's 3, maybe 4, maybe even 5 teams that I would put in the relegation zone ahead of Fulham. But you never know in this game. It's mad. This league is crazy. I mean, we saw at the weekend just gone, Wolves beating City. I mean, who the hell had that? And no one. It ruined everybody's accumulator, I think. And it's one of those weekends. But someone who had a good weekend was yourself, Dave. It was a very good weekend for Luton. And you called it, mate, on here. You called it. You said that Luton is round the corner. It's coming. We were all geeing you up, and we were hoping you were right, and you were. You must be very happy, mate.
Well, let's start with that one. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy about that result because it was a very wet day out. And do you know what? I thought at the time Everton started really well, and I just figured if they had like 3 or 4 shots on target, they would have gone in. They were just not on target. We got over that bit, and then we took the game to them, and we deservedly went 2-0 up, and it was like, I was in absolute heaven. The goals were great. I thought the first goal was a great shutdown from Lockyer. I thought the second goal was a very well worked free kick, very well practiced free kick. And do you know what? When you go 2-0 up at Goodison Park, their fans are getting on their backs. They didn't play very well. And do you know what? In the second half, I just thought, I think on our own podcast, we said it sort of almost got reduced to a championship game. All they were doing was booting the ball down the wing, crossing the ball, not getting it in. And I don't think our goalkeeper had to make a save in the second half. So I was delighted. And we get that monkey off our back of 3 points. You're never going to win a Premier League game. Well, guess what, lads? We have. That's great news. And I was really confident. I'm very sad I'm not sitting here today saying we've got 7 points and we're right up there, because I think we could have done better against Burnley on Tuesday night, and we sort of capitulated first half, which I didn't like. But second half we're much better. You get back in the game at 1-1, and 30 seconds later they score a worldie goal, but the defending was poor. And then I think, so look, I loved Saturday. I really enjoyed Saturday. I had a great time. The 3,000 of us that were there, we just sang, and it was fantastic. And I think we deserved the win. Tuesday, we should have done better. And then I look at the fixture list and think, crap, we got Tottenham on Saturday. If we play like this against Tottenham, we could have another Newcastle-Sheffield United game going on. That's how I think. And then we got coming up to see Dave after that. So Tottenham, Forest, Villa, Liverpool. So we should have taken more points, but it's a start, isn't it? You never know. Like you said, who thought Wolves would beat Manchester City? Not me. But we've just got some of the criticism off our back now. We've got some points, and we're going to move on. It was a delightful game. I loved it. I just thought, Carlton Morris come into his own. I thought you were right about Sambi Lokonga was injured, so he didn't play. We brought Mendy on. He's brilliant. I liked him. Doherty and Ogbeni absolutely bossed it on Saturday. Absolutely bossed it. And so I see good things for us when they're playing well. But there are points at which I'm watching the game, especially Tuesday night. Not Saturday, because I thought Saturday we controlled the game really well. Managed the game really well. Scored some good goals. But on Tuesday night, there were some points where I just sat there and thought, oh my God, if Burnley were much better than they actually are, we'd have been stuffed. Absolutely stuffed off the park in the first half. They were quick. They played some good football, but we gave them 2 goals. We defended poorly for both of their goals. And when you get back at the 85 minutes, 85 minutes and you score on 1-1, and then 86 minutes they score,
Yeah.
That's terrible. But apart from that, I'm really happy. We've got 4 points. I think we should be on 7 minimum. And then, the whole thing changes. We're still the highest placed new team in the division, just to let you know. And so I'm happy. But I'm dreading Saturday. I literally am dreading Saturday. I don't know where that's going to go. Early kickoff, maybe that'll make a difference. But I'm sort of wondering how we're going to cope with the strengths that Tottenham currently have. Because, you've got to say that even you, Dan, have got to say they are performing really well. And, Son is on fire since Harry Kane's left. So I'm sort of a bit worried, but you never know. Something might happen. We might just nick it.
I hope you do. I hope you take a point. I really do.
Me
I hope
too.
you take something. Keep Basuma and Maddison quiet, and you might be able to win the midfield battle there, but that's going to be tough. And then Son is Son, man. He's been scoring goals for how long? 5-6 years. So you just got to do what you can against him. But listen, it's at your place. Your crowd will be up for it. I'm begging that you get something, mate, because one, I can't stand him, and two, I'd like to see you take something, if I'm honest. But I must say, the other night I was at the studio and one of the lads, Frank, he said, "Oh, Luton are going to do a derby this year, aren't they? I don't think they're going to get to 10 points." I was like, "So you don't think they're going to get more than 4 wins the whole season?" "Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they will," he says. And I think people are being just a little bit too naive. Like you say, Sheffield United and Burnley, they're in trouble. If Luton are in trouble, they're certainly in trouble. But no one seems to talk about them two clubs. Maybe it's because they've got Vincent Kompany in charge or something. I don't quite get it really, but it is quite bizarre. Because Burnley, I don't think really. I know they beat yourself, and Dave, they've caused you problems at times this season. But I don't actually think I've looked at them once yet and gone, "Wow, they're staying up." So, I love Natalie, but I don't think she'd mind me saying that because I think it's true. I don't think we looked at Burnley once and gone, "Cool, yeah, they're brilliant. I wouldn't want to play them at the moment." Likewise, Sheffield United. So, I don't know. I think people just brush over Luton a bit too quickly, but maybe that's just me being sticking up for them because I like them.
But it's not just you. It's everyone. It's the press, everyone. The 3 worst ever promoted teams we've been lumped in with Burnley and Sheffield United. But if you take your stats from a different week, then we're not the worst one because there's people that have got different stats for the following week. Then we're not. But I've just said to all our guys, just get over it. Just forget it. Let them get on with it. We'll just get on with our game and, see what happens. But, 3 points.
And you know what, Dave? Like, you've actually got no pressure because everyone's wrote you off. Everyone thinks you're going down. You can just enjoy every week now. And if you win, like you did at the weekend, you can go, up yours. Do you know what I mean? So actually, that's probably a good, not bad thing, to be honest. If everyone was saying, "Oh, Luton will become 12th, 11th," then you might think, "Crikey, there's a lot of pressure on us to do well here." So actually, you just enjoy the ride, man.
There's no illusions from this end of the country. There's no illusions where what our task is. I've said this before. We're gaining more of security for our club, for our stadium, and everything else. We're under no illusions how difficult this is. If we can get anywhere, fantastic. If we go down, hopefully we'll come back up. But at the end of the day, the vitriol, I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't think we're not going to get more than, we are going to beat Derby's record. We're going to get higher points than they ever got. At the moment, Sheffield United are more likely to not get 11 points, aren't they?
I would agree with that.
And, so I'm over it. I banned it talking on our own podcast because I've done enough of it. So it's more about now seeing where can we get points. In our next 5, I can't. Nottingham Forest is the one we've got to do well at, isn't it? To be fair, the others we're not expected to get anything. So that's just going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, great attitude to have. Before I come back to Dave, D, welcome to the show, bro. Hope you're well, mate. And thanks for jumping on. I know you're struggling to get on through traffic and stuff, but you had an all right weekend, my bro. Got some revenge on Manchester United from the Carabao Cup disaster. And then, I think they got a bit cocky, my friend. And
I predicted a draw. Yeah, going into the game, I predicted a draw. A lot of Palace fans were saying that we was going to lose, but we played our second team against United, and I knew that our first team, Joachim Andersen and Mark Gay playing alongside even Joel Ward is upgraded on Nathaniel Klein, is going to be much more solid defensively. I thought we gave them too much respect in the first game. And we got the job done. I think they had 4 shots on target all game. Then again, with Palace, I think there is that expectation from neutrals maybe that, look, they got 1-0 result, but it's still Palace. It's not that great or whatever. But I feel that, to be fair, coming out of that game, yes, we got the win and it's absolutely fantastic. But I was a bit pissed off, I'll be honest, because the narrative has always been about Man United, how poor they were. But Palace were the ones that stopped them from having 4 shots on target. United still scored goals, for example, against Galatasaray and other teams. Even they will know they scored goals against Forest as well. But I thought we were so solid defensively that they struggled. But of course, the narrative is always United are bad. It's never what Palace have done. That kind of annoyed me. And a lot of people this season we talk about other teams with injuries, but we've had a mare with injuries. We haven't had 1 minute of Elise yet. We've lost Zaha. When you look at our attack against Man United, we had Jeffrey Schlupp, Mateta, and Ayew as our front three. Yes, Eze was there, but that's our front three. And on top of that, now we've lost Eze as well. We've had a lot of injuries. Jefferson Lerma out. So I'm proud of the boys. I think Roy's done a very solid job considering the amount of players that we've had out. I think now we've got 6 or 7 first-team players that's out injured. And yeah, we're taking a game at a time. We got the win against United. I expected maybe a draw would have been my expectation. So we over-exceeded that. But as I said, it's always a game at a time and we have to go forward. But now, I'll be honest, Potts, we have got that Eze injury. Looking at 6 weeks out, it's getting more and more painful because you're thinking we're getting results here and there, but how many more injuries are we going to get?
Is Elise back? Is Elise back yet or not? Because Elise's out, right, as well?
Yeah, so Elise hasn't played a single minute this season. Of course, we lost Zaha as well. Edward out injured, who I think had 4 goals the previous week in like 5 games. I think he had like 2 or 3 less than Haaland. He was like second top goal scorer in the league. So he had a very good start to the season. So in this game, we didn't have Edward, Elise, Matheus França, Jefferson Lerma, Edward as well. Dean Henderson, I won't count him as second choice, but he's out injured. He's another injury that we got as well. So we've had a few injuries, like a few ridiculous injuries. And it's adding to that. Now we're hearing that Eze might be out injured, but Edward will be back. So it's about taking a game at a time. I was looking forward to the international break, but now after the international break, we're most likely not going to be without Eze. Maybe Elise comes back. But yeah, it's been a tiring in terms of injuries, but in terms of results, we've actually done a relatively good job with the players that we've got out there.
Yeah, man, I'm a fan of what Roy Hodgson's doing. He just seems to just be good, doesn't he? He just seems to just know what he's doing. And like, I've got to say, like, for all the banter that Maz and Lawless give you, like, is there any kind of like reason as to why Palace can't be up there with West Ham and maybe even like not Brighton, maybe because Brighton are looking very good, although tonight they struggled.
What happened?
I don't know, man. Palace 2-2. They were 2-0 down. They got back to 2-2, Brighton.
Oh,
but do you think like there's any kind of way that you can, like go up with the likes of those names? I only use Brighton and West Ham because of Maz and Lawless and the banter they give you. But like, I don't know. Palace ain't going to be. Are they going to be a million miles off those clubs this season?
Well, top 10 was the aim going into the season, and it might sound crazy because then again, the narrative is always Palace. But last year under Roy, what we had is that players like Elise and Eze were attacking. We played some great attacking football as well as being solid defensively. So far this season, we have managed to get results. I think the only negative result would be, for me anyways, was the Arsenal game. I'm losing maybe like 1-0 because I thought maybe if you got a point against Arsenal, that would have been absolutely great. But then again, Fulham as well at home. Spoke to Emilio before the game, was chatting here, and both teams were looking to get a win, and that's a bit of a disappointing performance. But overall, it's been a very, very solid season, considering that we're still lacking numbers. Even in, for example, if everyone is still fit, we're still lacking numbers up there. So it's all about Potts. How much longer can we survive? So far, we have survived well. I used the 10-game mark as like a check mark to see what we can do so far this season, and we're nearly reaching 10 games. And I'll be honest, I'm happy. I'm happy with the results. It's just the performances. They can improve naturally in attack when we do have the players. What do you expect from Jeffrey Schlupp? Seriously, what do you expect from Schlupp? He played as a number 10 in certain games. He plays out wide. And honestly, he is not it. He's not a Premier League starter. And we're starting games with him because we literally have no other option. So top 10 is the aim. But if you're looking at higher than that, then we'll have to see. It's a game. My approach all season from the game one has been game at a time. And so far, I'm happy.
Yeah, fair play, man. I think Anderson and Gearheat together is just such a good partnership, man. I can't lie. It's looking so solid.
Partnerships in the Premier League. And you laughed at me, Potts, as well when I was talking about price tags. That's why they're worth that much. Because, yes, we talk about, 60, 70 million pounds and all of that. But to Palace, it is worth that much. if you lose Gay on Anderson, that partnership is broken. That partnership has been absolutely fantastic for us. Gay, he now getting selected for England, being a regular starter there. Anderson always selected for Denmark as well. Both of them complement each other's games perfectly well. Technical ability, fantastic as well. I think that both of their pairing is one of the most underrated pairings in the Premier League in terms of defensively. And on top of that, when you add Roy Hodgson to it, defensively, I never really had worries about it going into the season. It's all about an attack, which is hard to say yet because we haven't had the players to unlock the attack to the ability that we should be doing.
Yeah, well, listen, you're right in terms of the partnership, and we laughed at you, and that was before Declan Rice and Caicedo and Enzo and all those guys started going for crazy prices. And to be fair, Palace can ask for what they want if they've got a player under contract now. It's crazy what people are going for. Listen, Dave, you got Palace next at the weekend, I believe. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah.
Is that right?
It is, mate, yeah. Tea time with Palace.
Tea time at Palace. Good game. I expect it to be a good game. I watched your game against Brentford. Again, it was a crazy, what was it, 18 minutes of extra time or something crazy like that.
13 down.
Yeah, you must have been okay with the end result, I suppose.
I was more than okay with the end result. And I think looking back over the body of work of 7 games, I'm kind of more than okay with what I've seen. You know, what you're getting is Forest are playing in fits and starts. So I tell you what they've done in the home games, they've started really strong and then sort of hit a plateau and then kind of lost their way for a bit and then kind of got it back. It's, you know, I mean, I listened to Emilio talking and his kind of, you know, he and I are in a similar position in the table. And with obviously with D just a little bit above. And Emilio's take on Fulham is slightly different to my take on my lot. Because I think with my lot, in every game we've played, there's been some real good positive stuff to take away. And I'm, you know, at the end of Sunday, I walked out and I thought it was a point that showed a lot of character. Because we started really well. It was a fairly sedate first half, but Forest were the better team. And Forest are trying to find the next step in the evolution. They want to have more possession. Last year, we had to low block it to keep ourselves up. You know, those first 4 away games at the big guns, we had to low block it to try and get through them. Now, what Steve wants to do, he wants to sort of make us a little bit more front foot, a little bit more, not so much sort of reactive as proactive, but just to sort of be taking the initiative. And it starts well, and then Forest aren't quite experienced enough to do it yet. They're learning as they're going along. But when Niakate was rightly sent off on, I think it was on the hour, and then Brentford scored. The free kick came in, and Norgard headed in. Again, VAR was there, but they were looking at Matthias Jensen, who was the next player along. Now he was in an offside position, but he was not affecting the play where he was. So Norgard headed in, good header. Although maybe Matty Turner could have saved it.
Yeah, I thought Turner should have done better, man.
Yeah, in fact, Matty had probably his most questionable game since he joined. So he'll be feeling the heat of Lacademos, who played every game for Benfica last year and was and I believe was brought to be the number 1. So Matt's got some, you know, there's competition there for his place now. And I kind of sat there in the Trent tent thinking, oh, blimey, this is going to get a bit naughty. As I had done at the Etihad the week before, I kind of thought we were going to be rolled over to a Sheffield United-esque extent. But you know what? The 10 men, I thought, were quietly terrific. He put Morgan on. He'd left Morgan out, which a lot of people saying, oh, you know, Morgan should have been left out. What they expect genius every 5 minutes from Morgan. He's a human being. Has anybody of these people like attacking him? Have they tried to be perfect every single minute of every single day of every single year? I'd like to see them try. He's knackered still from the European Championships, where he put so much into winning this country a trophy, right? So Steve's kind of said, Steve was a bit put out by the idea, he's not, I'm not dropped him. I'm drip feeding him. I'm looking after him. And Morgan came on and was excellent. He ran the length of the field to stop a Brian Mbeumo goal. Magnificent piece of play. And then gave it the fist bumps like he did against Arsenal at the end of last season when he beat those 5 or 6 and then took the ball back. So that was great to see. Harry Toffolo was my little favourite on Saturday because he's been through the mill with the betting scandals and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of his private life has been raked over and brought out into the open. And he came on and he put the ball across for the equaliser and made some really good tackles. And the 10 were like I say, pretty sound. When the 13 minutes of added time came up, you kind of thought, this is going to be a real test, because obviously it gives Brentford a lift to think, well, we've got the extra man, we can go and win this. And yet Forest in added time managed the game beautifully. And it was a point that, you know, after an hour, yeah, give me a point now. Let me walk out the City Ground with a point. And as I say, we're 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 defeats. But the overall feeling I get is, you know, never get carried away, never get too high, never get too low. But I'm kind of liking what my lads are doing. I love the spirit in the side. I love the fact that they're all pulling for each other. I saw that they had a squad team photo video last week where I think there were 31 of them on. So they'd obviously put 400 or 500 of the other signings in a shed somewhere. just to return to a comedy chestnut of last year. And they were laughing and joking. They're all getting on really, really well. You know, people like Callum Hudson-Odoi's coming in. He seems really happy. Anthony Elanga seems happy. You know, the Brazilian boys have got their own little group. They're all getting on really well. And actually, on that subject, I thought Murillo was, for his making his debut at the City Ground, had a terrific game. After he had a nervous 10 or 20 minutes where he gave the ball away a couple of times, but thereafter I thought he was excellent. And I just think there's a nice little vibe about us at the moment. So we are where we are. We're 12th. 17th is my base camp. That's what I want. I'm no different to Dave Gregory. I'm no different to Emilio. You know, deep, they're established in the Premier League after 10 years. Palace should be looking at least mid-table and then maybe pushing on above. But I want 17th. I just want to be a Premier League club again. That is it. That is everything. And then if we end up, we ended up a little bonus last year. We were 16th. Now, if we end up 14th, 13th, poor mate, get the bunting out. And I think everybody at Forest, it's the first time in maybe 2 or 3 decades that Nottingham Forest as a football club appears to have its feet on the ground, and it has some kind of considered, objective view of itself in the round. You know, where it sits in the hierarchy of football. It isn't thinking it's too big for its boots. It isn't looking down on anybody. I get a sense that everybody's working hard. There's a really good family feel about the club from the stands on the pitch. And, you know, I mean, I feel pretty good. But the next game is always the toughest. I mean, you know, Palace away, very difficult game. I'm personally, as a football fan, I'm really sad that Elise and Eze aren't playing, because I love watching those guys play football. I think they're wonderful, wonderful footballers. You know, the young lads are great role models as well. You know, I think they're fabulous players, them too. And then I think we've got the hardest game of our season. It's the first game after the international break, bar none. We go to Anfield in 3 weeks. Now, that's a piece of piss. We can go there, no pressure on us. Our hardest game of the season is the 21st of October against the one team in this league that has absolutely no pressure, no expectation, and nothing to lose. So, you know, so I know I was asked this on a Forest channel on Saturday, and somebody goes, you know, you've got Palace coming up, you've got Luton coming up, you've got Liverpool, you know, there's some points to be had there. I said, I'll tell you the hardest one now is Luton Town. And I got a bit stroppy with the bloke, sort of saying, oh, well, so what? So Luton Town are easy? What? Because Garth Crooks says so. No way. Luton Town's our hardest game by a mile. We've had hard games against Burnley. We've had a hard game against Sheffield. Burnley should have beaten us. Sheffield United should have got something against us. It's to our great credit that we got 4 points out of those games. And I'm telling you, Luton Town will be really, really difficult, as will Saturday. I mean, my own experience of running football teams is when you've got, say, you know, Palace have got 2 talismans, if you like, in Michael Elise and Everett Eze, right? The lads that will play, if those 2 don't play, will put extra in. So if somebody says to me, oh, it's a good time to play Palace because they've got these missing. No, I don't subscribe to that, because I always expect the unexpected. So, yeah, I'm happy with us, Dan. We're going along quite nicely. But, you know, it can all change in one game's time, can't it? So
Yeah.
we'll see how we go, mate.
I also see the, was it Morgan Gibbs-White, that last gasp tackle towards the end of the game? So, again, that shows you're down to 10 men. Togetherness of that team. And who have you got? You've got one of your attacking players gone back to defend and made a cracking tackle to stop and scoring a late winner. So that, you know, that team spirit there.
Yeah, Emilio, it's a great point. And what Morgan did, I mean, you know, people have been questioning him. You know, they want him. I mean, he became our best player last season. He kind of took over from Brennan Johnson. and assume that X factor mantle, if you like. And you often think with guys like that, they're the ones who expect, if you like, the minions to do their running about from. No, his attitude was absolutely magnificent. And I think certainly going into the added time, went 13 minutes, and I thought it would be that much because there was a lot of faffing about with regards to Niakati's sending off, and he was rightly sent off. He'd given away a silly foul in the first half where he tackled Matthias Jensen's wrong leg. He didn't need to do that. And Steve was annoyed because he gave away a free kick and Brentford are good from set pieces. And then the second with, I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Brian Mbumo or whoever he brought down, Johan Visser maybe. He had 3 attempts at him and then lastly raked his boot down the back of his ankle. So that is a clear red card. So there was a lot of faffing about with that. There was obviously substitutions and I thought it would be that much. But what Morgan did in that particular moment, he gave hope and inspiration to everybody in the ground that we could not get beat. And it's a key point with us. The way we've played in the Sheffield United, Burnley and Brentford games at home, this time last year, I think we would have lost them. You know what I mean? So there's just this, it's modicums of progress with Forest, but we never get carried away. The great one is still looking down on us from his perch. He's got God at his right hand. And he's saying, hey, don't get above yourself. And I think that's what Forest is subscribing to at the moment.
Dave, let's have a prediction from you and D then, since it's the game that you're both against each other. What are you saying, Dave?
1-1.
D, what are you saying?
You stole my prediction. I was gonna go for 1-0 as well. But I'll be honest, I think Forest should be, like, if I'm a Forest fan, Dave, I'll be honest, I'll be looking to try and win this game. I think this is a very good opportunity to try and beat us. So I am a bit more worried now with Eze not being there. With Eze being there, I was predicting, due to us playing at home, maybe we could win. But now I think it'll be 1-0. I think it'll be 1-0. I think I think it'll be a tight game. I think Forest will probably play better than us, but hopefully I'm wrong and I get it wrong. But yeah.
I do you know what, D? I think it probably is. You know, objectively speaking, when you've got these two superb players of yours not in the side, it is maybe what you might term a better time to play Palace. But I loved what you said about Guehi and Anderson earlier. They've been fantastic. And Mark Guehi for England has quietly established himself. I think when we get to the Euros next year, my back two pairing for England would be John Stones and him. I thought he was excellent in the international break. And so, if nothing else, Palace have got a solid base, a solid foundation. Tyrick Mitchell's a good lad. You know, Joel Ward will give his all. Sam Johnson's a good keeper. I'm going for a draw because if you look at the two teams, and we've got, I think we might have Dominguez out and Yates out. So it just has a balanced feel of a draw to it. You know, I mean. I'd be happy with a point now. You know, in many ways. I mean, it's going to be weird going back to Palace because we had the best party we've ever had at Palace at the end of last season. It was amazing. I'm still recovering from it now, and I don't even drink, so it'll be a bit weird on in the dark on a Saturday. But this time I'll get a better view because my ticket's down the front. So. Yeah, looking forward to it. Look forward to everything.
Let's hopefully less more enjoyment. Less more enjoyment in this game. It didn't even matter for you, Dave. It was a party. You went there with myself of it being a party, but now it's like a serious game. I think both sides could easily beat each other. But I'll be honest, as a Palace fan, as much as I want to back the boys, I need to be realistic. I'm worried about our attack. Let's see how I attack. Defensively, as you said, I'm not worried. Midfield should be interesting as well. I think we'll be okay there. It's just an attack. Can we score the goal? I don't think we'll concede that many, but Forest have got interesting attackers. Hudson-Odoi, Elanga. I've even like Sangare in midfield. I think he's tall, physical, very good as well.
Yeah,
so
beginning to get.
But and also
as a Palace fan,
as a Palace fan, for example, Dave, you want to stay up. I don't know if other Forest fans want to stay up only, but as a Palace fan, I want to do more than staying up. So I'm looking at this game with all due respect that if we want to achieve something special this season, then we have to be trying to get these results at home. But then again, I have to also be aware that we don't have Eze or Elise or some of these other key players in attack. So that's why I guess a point will do. But even then, I mean, I don't want to fall behind. I want to stay where we are and try to push up the table. Should be a good game.
Who plays left wing for you, D, at the moment?
Jeffrey Schlupp. Fuck me, man.
Okay.
Jeffrey Schlupp.
And who plays left wing for you, Dave?
Callum
Yalanga.
Hudson-Odoi.
Oh, Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Callum is playing out on the left because he likes to cut in from on his right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to see actually. I mean, we've played, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, and City, and he's gone back five and just be, resilient. It'd be interesting in this one to see if he goes back four and maybe plays both Anthony and Callum. My guess is that I don't think he'll play both of them. I think what he'll do, I think he'll bring Morgan back in and he'll play Callum out on the right. Actually, out on the left, cutting on his right.
Well, the reason I ask is because you won't see Callum Hudson-Odoi and you won't see Jeffrey Schlupp because you can't see anything on the left wing in the Palace away end. So hopefully,
not for me anyways. But yeah, maybe Dave.
He'll see everything. But the away end at Palace, forget the left hand side, mate. You can't see it. It's totally blocked. Totally blocked.
I'm worried about your wingers. Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, I think they're the ones to look out for. I think Joe Wood, funny enough, done a good job against United and Mitchell as well. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi, let's see how they do. It should be an exciting game on paper. I'll be honest, it doesn't sound exciting for versus Palace for the neutrals, but with the players that you've got, it should be exciting for Forest, especially for Palace. I don't know what we're gonna do in attack. Maybe Edward coming back could be a boost, but apart from that, I just don't know where the creativity is.
Mm-hmm.
Fair play, man. I think a draw is a fair prediction, to be fair. Emilio, 3 points for Fulham, right? Sheffield United, come on.
Yeah, we need to bounce back from that performance on Saturday. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to feel like a championship game, against, two average teams. It's going to be, just pull a few punches, basically. I think Fulham need to get the 3 points. We're at home. I think we'll respond after that dreadful performance on Monday. Marco Silva will make a couple changes. I think we're good enough to beat them, but we have to beat them. We need to distance that 3 points further from Sheffield United and give us that bit of a cushion, before we got Tottenham away the week after next. So yeah, I'm going for 3 points. It won't be pretty. It will probably be last on match of the day as usual. So it's we'll see. But yeah, I think we're good enough to win. But let's not underestimate this. This is not going to be an easy game because Sheffield, no Judas, they're not the prettiest team to watch. They've got a style of football to play. We've got to rise above that, play our normal game, and just find some attacking threat, which we've not had much of the season. That's my worry. It's finding those moments and make some changes. Marco Silva, get the 3 points, and then we can breathe a little bit more. But yeah, I'm fairly confident we'll get the 3 points Saturday.
Okay, fair play. And last but not least, Dave Gregory, Luton Town 1, Spurs 0, I guess.
Well, I'm just going to go for 3-1, and I'll let you decide if I'm being optimistic or pessimistic. I think that's all I can say. It's just, I don't know. To be fair, it's going to be a very difficult game for us. Early kickoff, maybe that will change some things. So, yeah, I'm not expecting to win. If we get anything out of it, I'll be delighted. So I'm just going to stick with that and see if I'm right. I hope I'm being optimistic and not pessimistic. But that's
so do I.
The bottom line is they're a decent side, clearly a stride above us. You can see that. So we've got to be at our best, and they've got to be a little bit off form for us to get anything out of that game. But, it's happened. Like I said, it happened at Wolves. It happens in other seasons. So, why not? Maybe they're due an upset. So I'm hoping we can do it. But, I've got to be a bit more realistic and think, well, it's going to be a very difficult game. So I'm still going to stick with 3-1 though, and I hope we'll come on next week and I'll be celebrating. Who knows?
Mate, you take 1-0 off the back of Lockie's backside, mate.
I will take anything if it's a win for us. I'll take a draw.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be a good result. Great result.
But just be realistic. Look where they are. Look where we are. Look at their
and Dave, look at what their manager's done. Look at the impression he's created. I think. I mean, I was on the Tottenham centric show last year, and I was getting pelters for saying that he'd be a good guy for Tottenham. Oh, well, he's Australian, so he can't do it, and he was at Celtic, so he's obviously not good enough. Listen to the man talk. Tottenham have got a brilliant social animal there now, and it's the first time I can remember Tottenham Hotspur for a long time. They've had these martinets like Conte and Mourinho who are about themselves rather than the club. Look at me, I'm in charge. And they were pathetic, the pair of them. They just created. If they'd have been Captain Bligh on the Bounty, they'd have been mutinied against every week. I couldn't believe. I mean, you look at Dele Alli now, and you kind of think, what did Jose Mourinho do to him, right? You know, as he tried to do with Luke Shaw at Manchester United. Ange Postecoglou is one of the most positive forces in football at the moment. I love the guy, and he's made Tottenham really likeable. And I think he is the big danger to Luton at the weekend. He's that good a guy.
They are a more together team. You can see that. But you know, my
and
team
they have been for years.
Yeah, but my team right now are for everyone. Each fight for everybody else. There's no prima donnas. They'll do their best. It's like another cup tie for us, isn't it? Let's be fair.
Man.
Occasionally you can win a cup tie.
You can. And do you know what? As Kevin Keegan once said, I would love it if you beat them. Love it.
I would love it.
Trust me, I would love it if you beat them.
You both have the same record, right? You both have the same record.
We do. Literally both the same points. Yeah. So we got Man City, which is why I'm hoping that Tottenham don't win. I'm never confident, man, going into this game. The problem we've got is Saka and Martinelli look like they're both out.
No, I'm talking about Tottenham. I'm talking about Tottenham. I'm not talking about City.
Oh, no, I'm not scared of Tottenham. No.
But are you saying that because you're Arsenal fan, or are you not scared of what they're
No, because, I mean, what do you mean by scared? What, that they might win the league or what? Like,
not that they might, not that they won't win the league. I'm just saying that they'll be up there trying to compete with Arsenal. Like, are you worried about that?
I think they'll be up there fighting for a Champions League place, but I don't think they're up there coming second or third. I don't think.
No.
I mean, look, if they keep all 11 players fit every single game, one game a week, then they could come third. They could come fourth. Don't think they'll come first or second, but that could change. But for me, Maddison gets crocked like he does every year for Leicester, and they're struggling for creativity again. Bissouma gets injured. They got Oli Skip back in. You know what I mean? Lo Celso's the backup to Maddison. They haven't got a backup striker. They have to put Richarlison up there again, who's still looking for his first goal, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? So it's poor, man. The backup ain't there. They're one injury away from Eric Dyer getting the nod again. You know, like for me, the squad ain't there. You know, like we can talk about how great they've looked, and Ange Postecoglou has done a great job. And I said this to Tobes and quite a lot of the other Tottenham fans, the ones that I do get on with. And I said to him, you know, like he's not a Tottenham manager for me. He's not a Tottenham manager for me because he's too nice. I don't want the Tottenham manager to be nice. I want to hate him, but I can't help but like him. You know, so listen, that's what I've said. But I do think that if they get a couple of injuries, like Chelsea boys said in the chat, if Son or Maddison get injured, they're mudded, and I agree with that. I think that's how simple it is. And you can say that about any club, but the backups for the other clubs around them do have people coming in. If Jota misses a game, Diaz is there for Liverpool. You know, we talk about with Arsenal and with Man United and with Manchester City, Newcastle. They've actually got a little bit of strength in depth now. Not amazing, but a little bit of strength in depth. I don't think Tottenham have got any strength in depth whatsoever. So, man, I expect them to be Champions League place at the moment, the way they're playing. But I'm not worried. As far as the weekend goes, of course I'm worried because Man City are an unbelievable team, and if we have got Saka and Martinelli out, then we're going to miss them both. Saka's been called up by Gareth Southgate, which is lovely of him. It's
I'm sorry. It's on our
I agree. I agree with you, D.
I've noticed the trend, like even last season. There comes a time where you have to look at your options, like when you're winning games, and you just have to manage a bit more properly. Like that thing that was it 80 games or so, or 70 games they played in a row?
89 games.
89 games in a row. I looked at that and thought, hold up, should you be happy about this? I was like, should you be happy about exactly? No, that's what I said at the time. I'm not even saying it as a reaction right now. Should you be happy about this? Because that's a lot of games he's playing in a row. He's still young. Are you like over relying on him in terms of like, will injuries start popping up? And what happened? Slowly, injuries here and there.
What was mad was he come off against
because that's too much. You're overusing him right now. You're overusing him.
Well, he limped off against Spurs in a North London derby, and I thought, that's a shame. But at least we can give him a rest now, which he needs. He played the next game. Then it was like, Brentford will rest him for that one. Then he played against Bournemouth, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect him to start, but fair play, he must be fit. And then he limps off against Bournemouth. So I'm like, right, don't play him against Lens because we've got Man City. Let him have the whole week off. He starts against Lens, 30 minutes, crocked. Like, what is
Yeah.
Arteta doing, man? We don't need
There's a
Saka
trend
to beat
there.
Lons.
He's gonna get a big
Like,
injury soon if he continues this. Like, it's like
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
he doesn't, but
it's
it's not
crazy.
looking good. Like,
We didn't
too
even
many
beat Lons.
games,
We
too
didn't even
many.
beat Lons anyway. So, like, it's
Exactly,
just mad for
yeah.
me. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I'm going to ask this because Ricky's put it 3 times in the chat. Bless him. So he obviously wants it answered. Says Dan, question for the panel: is this Arteta's ceiling if Arsenal fail to beat City with KDB, Stones, and Rodri out? I'll let anyone answer that. What do we think of this? Like, this is the time to beat Man City, isn't it? Wow.
The jury's on its way out to deliberate. I think he's getting to that point where he's more questionable at the moment than he has been for a while. That's what I think.
That's fair.
When he first, was doing well at Arsenal, when he was pushing for Champions League spots a few seasons ago, didn't get it, but you saw doing well towards the end of the season. Even last season, losing out on the title, I thought you bottled it. I've always had this question: is it going to be a scenario where there's been natural progression and it's done fantastic in terms of bringing you where you are? Because a lot of Arsenal fans would have been happy for top 4 a few seasons ago. Now we're talking about the league title. But can he get the job done? Can he get it over the line? We've seen it with the likes of even like Poch as well. And I think there's a lot of pressure now on Arteta. And I think, I'll be honest, LB probably know better. But for City, this is, of course, you're facing Arsenal, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get a result. I think there isn't that much pressure on City because City know that they could get results from elsewhere. But for Arteta and Arsenal, Potts, you will know as well, I think you're looking at this game massively. I think if you win this game, you're going to get excited. You're going to say,
win, man. This is a must-win game for us, bro. This is a must-win game. We want to win the league title, go and beat Man City. The last time, this is
Man City, but then it's not just beating Man City though. You can beat Man City twice, and then you can bottle it against teams that you did last year.
Obviously we can't do that as well. But Dean, beating Man. Okay, here's a trivia question for anybody on the panel. I'll let anybody and the chat can join in. Last time Arsenal beat Man City in the league, give me the year.
God knows, because you struggled even under Wenger, I think. 2015. I'm just going to take a guess.
Great guess, D. You're right. It was 2015, right?
Yeah.
So 2015 is the last time Arsenal beat Man City. The last 7 years, Pep's been there, or however long it's been now. We haven't beaten Pep Guardiola in the league. We've beaten him in an FA Cup and this season in the Community Shield on penalties, right? That's the only time I think we've beaten Pep Guardiola. So that means it must happen. And mentally, D, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you're right. We can still bottle it against other clubs. And, Metallitin in 1894 said, Potts felt that bottle comment. No, I didn't, because I agree with D, and D knows I did. I told everybody we bottled the league last season. You can't be 8 points clear and then lose the league title, right? So for me, we don't beat Man City. They are already ahead of us. We were 8 points clear of them. We couldn't win the title. So what happens now if they go ahead of us even more? To the start with, 7-8 games in? So for me, this is a must win. And I look at the situation and think, right, last season, would anybody have liked to have played Man City without KDB, Rodri, Mahrez, or Gundogan? Most people on the panel would be shaking their heads. And that's what the situation we're in. I understand they bought Kovacic and they bought Doku to replace Mahrez and Gundogan, but that's the situation we're in right now. Now, I understand we might have Saka and Martinelli that aren't 100% fit. I actually think Saka is getting a late fitness test, which I know this kid is a machine. He will play. Whether it's 70 minutes, 20 minutes, he will play, right? Whether that's a right or wrong thing, we'll do that another time. But for me, we have to win this game, man. We just have to win this game.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think City feel like that. I don't think City say that we have to win this game. We have to be Arsenal. And I think that's the two different perspectives. For City, I think even 100%. If they lose this game, they still have that confidence that they could, go and win the title. But for Arsenal, there's more added pressure. Maybe it's because of the injuries. Maybe it's because of what's been happening with Arteta and expectation this season to try and win something. And, City is the team to beat. But I don't think it's only City because I'll be honest, Liverpool, yes, they lost against Spurs, but Liverpool have looked very dangerous this season. With 9 men, Spurs were struggling to even break them down, and they still created opportunities like that. So I think City's looking at this game. All right, cool. You don't want to lose against Arsenal. You don't want to lose any type of game, regardless of what team you support or play for. But if City lose this game against Arsenal, I don't think they're saying, "Oh, it's the end of the world." But I think for Arsenal fans, I think they'll, I know that there will be a massive reaction. Oh, look, we lost to City without KDB, Rodri. So I think going into this game, City's got less pressure, way with less pressure than Arsenal in a way.
Look at the difference. Look at the difference against at Newcastle and against Wolves to Leipzig last night, where Rodri was back in the side. The difference was colossal. At Wolves, they were all right, but Neto scored a beautiful goal. Wolves actually were quietly excellent. Shout out to little Dan and his mates. Wolves put in a great show there. And against Newcastle, they had lots and lots of the ball, but they never looked like they were going to break Newcastle down. Last night in Leipzig, City were back. And that one-man army in their midfield, Rodri. I mean, if Forest are ever going to do Arsenal a favour, if Arsenal want to play City at the right time, get on your hands and knees, and he'll have to because he's lying on the floor. Thank Morgan Gibbs-White for what he did at the Etihad. You know what I mean? Because Rodri, I tell you what, for the first 40 minutes last week at the Etihad, I saw the best football maybe I've ever seen in my life. They were sublime, passing, moving. What gets you when you see them in the flesh is just how brilliant and quick they are to go and get the ball back. You think City are all about elegance and refinement and all this kind of stuff. No, when they have to get the mucky stuff done to get the ball back, that's when they really come into their own. So no Rodri is a big thing, I think. I think he's the best player in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. The best individual in any team in this league. And, the only thing I would say, Pep will be saying Sunday, I don't want to repeat a Wolves last week. So he'll stick a flea in their ear. And Bukayo, I love Bukayo. It's almost like Bukayo needs protecting from himself because he just loves playing football. He loves playing for Arsenal. He loves playing with his mates. He's such a great asset to football, Bukayo. But it's almost like he needs saving from himself if he's going to flog himself. Do you know what I mean? So
and that's why it's on Arteta, Dave. That's why it's on Arteta. He's got to be the manager here and say, look, Bukayo, I get you. You know your body well. You want to play, but you're hobbling off every game, mate. I've got to give you a week and then you're fit for City and go play that. Not, I'll go out to Lons and try and give it your best, see how long you last. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy for me. But there we go. Arteta, literally, lastly on Arteta, I think everyone knows my thoughts. He's got to win, man. He's got to win a trophy this year. And otherwise, there's pressure on him.
Your home form compared to away form this season has been a bit dodgy in terms of like conceding goals, etc. So without KDB, Rodri, and all them play, like you need to improve at home as well. You've been getting results there. Don't get me wrong, but how you play away from home compared to home, it doesn't make any sense. Normally, you should be playing better at home, but it's like the opposite in a way. Maybe there's more pressure.
I mean, Arteta's come out in a press conference and said it's because we're too emotional. Well, do something about that then. You're the manager.
You have to calm them down, boy. Calm them down.
Yeah, you're the manager. Do something about that. Oh, we keep missing our chances. Do something about that. Oh, we need to be a little bit better in terms of our defending. We'll do something about that. None of these. I hate all this stuff. Like, what are you going to do about it? Tell us what you're going to do about it. What we need to improve, not just what's going wrong, because we all can see that. We all understand we're conceding goals at home. We all understand we're missing our chances, and why he's playing Bukayo Saka. And I mean, for me, he's going to either fall on this Kai Havertz sword, or he's going to have to just give up because he is not good enough. This guy was £65 million, and he is literally a statue in the middle, and he is getting in everyone's way. He's passing a few balls, and everyone gets really excited because he's £65 million. Look at what he's doing. I'm sorry, you've just got to be. You just got to. Sometimes I don't get it with these fans. It's not just Arsenal fans. They just want to be so positive all the time. You can't criticise anything anyone does anymore because you're a bad fan. Actually, you're a good fan if you call out something that's going wrong, in my opinion. So if you sit there and you start, he'll come good. He'll come good. It's only been 20 games now. He'll come good. He'll come good. It's only been 30 games now. This guy's had 3 years in Chelsea and he's been awful. And now he's having another, 10 games at Arsenal, and always just expect it to go right sometime. Sometimes you've got to take the guy out the side and say, look, it ain't working for you. We're going to try you in a different dimension. We're going to give you 20 minutes into the game up top. We're going to try you off with the wing in the next couple of games, whatever it be. But we just keep playing this guy, expecting him to be good. We've had to gift this geezer a charity penalty to make him sure he's given a bloody confidence boost. That's how poor it's getting. I mean, it's that bad. It is unbelievable. And fans are going, this is brilliant. Yeah. I just can't. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Anyway, it's not supposed to be about Arsenal, this programme. But there we go.
We're there for you, Dan. If you need us, mate, you can contact anyone. We're all on WhatsApp. If you need to talk, if you want a Big Brother Dave's there for you, mate.
It's good therapy, man. It's good therapy.
You can learn it. Yeah, plus you can learn a thing or two from Dave as well, because they've actually got European trophies. So they
exactly, mate. They got two. They got two, man. They got two.
Exactly. They got a few.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll say this now, and I don't mean to be pessimistic. We ain't winning that this year. Let me tell you that. If you can't beat Lons away, we've not even gone to the San Siro yet. Or Bernabeu.
I disagree. Your best chance is still Champions League, I think, personally. Anyways, I think
we've got more chance of winning that than the league, but I don't think we've got a chance of winning that either. If I'm honest, the way that we're playing this year, I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Big up all of you. Make sure you do us a favor, people. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you join if you want to join as a member. Go over to Dave Asprey. Make sure you give him a follow on social media. Make sure you go over to Teddy Nello and the Cottage Talks for all Fulham content. For all Palace content, it's D Palace and Back of the Nest. And of course, we've got Owen the Town and Dave Gregory on Twitter as well. Make sure you go follow these guys, please, people. If you do want to check out last night's stream and you are a gooner, there was a real good heated debate last night where Northside just come on and went absolutely sick at everyone. So if you do want to have a chat at that and go and watch that, then please do. Until then, we'll see you next time and up the Arsenal. Take it easy, people. We're out of here.